Hello, hello. What is up? What is good? It's Sunday morning. I just finished a very lovely cup of coffee from one of my favorite bean suppliers, DeMello. We got a new chapter of One Piece. You know, shit is pretty fucked on the global level, but on the personal level, man, my life is so good. I'm so excited to read this. We are back in present day Elbaf after our long flashback digression. Things are getting pretty crazy. There are so many things kind of just on the table, you know? We could learn more about Emu's powers. We could see if there is a reversey, if the power of Luffy and of Joy Boy and of the Sun God Nika is able to actually flip the Othello chips back over, which of course could be essential for everything. We still have like Brook and Gunko backstory that's kind of lurking in the background. We still have yet to see the full extent of Loki's powers. We still have yet to see the full extent of Jowrul's powers. That may come into play very, very soon. And yet, I feel like at the same time, it's like so reassuring to kind of finally be back at a place where I do have some expectations for these chapters. Like, we know that we're going to see the conclusion of these fights. We're going to see Elbaf getting saved from this onslaught by the Holy Knights. Like, we're kind of back on a more understandable path than the flashback, which could have gone in like a million different directions, you know? So I don't know. I think it's important to kind of balance those two things out when you're telling a long serialized story, right? Periods where the plot is just wide open and ambiguous, and the reader feels totally at sea with the vast world ahead of them. And when, you know, land is sighted, to continue a sailing analogy, very appropriate, when you've seen land and you're heading for that land, you know? Now I feel like we're heading for that land. We're heading for this mega climax of the Elbaf arc. But there's still so many mysteries in Elbaf as well. What is going on at the top layer? What is going on with the giant sword? I don't know. There's much to do yet. Okay, so this is chapter 1173, Warrior Generation. Very silly, bizarre cover page here. Usopp smearing honey on the tip of his nose to lure in rhinoceros beetles by Hoshimiya. Unclear why he is doing that. I like Chopper, though, is in the classic like beetle pose. A Kabuto beetle, one of the many things that Chopper has been compared to. Okay. All right, so starting off with a spread, the demonified giants closing in on Jowrul. Dory and Bragi, what has become of you? Hopefully Jowrul can remember when something similar happened to Harold. Can understand that this is the same thing going down. As tragic as that is, because at that time there was no other way to stop Harold than by killing him. What plan do you speak of? First, you need to tell me if it's okay to cut him into pieces. It's a good question. They're all members of the giant pirate crew. Protecting Chief Jowrul's life is their top priority, but ideally we don't want to harm vaunted warriors who've earned our respect. Okay. So they understand this mechanics of don't getting sandwiched. You boys managed to unite all of giant kind yet? I'm guessing the answer is no. I get pissed off. Go ahead, Zoro. Yeah, that is the mission of the new giant pirates, if you recall, is they're going around trying to find all of these kind of scattered giants that had set out from Elbaf for any number of reasons and unite them under one banner. Which one presumes includes the giants that are serving in the Marines, which I don't know if they're going to be open to this idea now that Elbaf has been declaring itself an enemy of the world government. Okay. Zoro jumping around the heads of the giants. This kind of reminds me of a scene in Attack on Titan where Levi like rappels across an entire row of titans in order to attack the ape titan. Slashes down, crossing the six paths. One of his most powerful moves. Ooh. And this, of course, is a visual parallel to a great shot way back in Little Garden, where the giants attack each other. And Luffy collapses from awe and admiration and says, it's just too much. They're just too huge. He's just in awe of these giant warriors. The posing is much the same. Even the grinning is very the same. That's where they drop the iconic line of, the reason for our fight is long since forgotten. Here, replicated, but they're slashing into each other instead of kind of harmlessly bouncing off of each other, dealing an intense blow that looks actually damaging. So far, you know, one of the benefits of this demonification is that they don't seem to take any damage. I like, too, that it's very clear that the demonification does not make these giants any smarter. It's kind of scary because it is like their personality still. It isn't like a total brainwashing personality overwrite. They still remember things. You know, they were making those insulting comments to Hadruden. Here, they attack the same way. They still have this goofy grin on their face. They still kind of attack recklessly. They don't recognize they're about to attack each other. Okay, meanwhile, Brook is shoveling along, even though he's still all bound up, and calls out to Princess Shuri. Okay. So this, of course, is Brook remembering something. We had seen this foreshadowed. I mentioned it earlier that this was another kind of outstanding plot thread that had been set up pre-flashback, is that Brook has some memory of like playing music for Gunko when she was young, when she was known as Princess Shuri. Even if you're not the same person, you must be blood relatives. If she were still alive, she'd be nearly 80 years old after all. She wouldn't recognize me, not in the state I'm in now. But your face, your blue hair, your mismatched eyes, the Holy Land, and your love for my music, it all aligns perfectly, doesn't it, Princess Shuri? I never wanted to think of you again for the rest of my life. Not the father-killing princess. The life you stole away belonged to the man to whom I owe everything. Okay, this is very interesting. At the time, it was ambiguous to me if this was a memory from before Brook died, or if this was... I think because of the summoning circle, and then suddenly making the connection between the summoning circle and the summoning circle that the people were doing to try to summon a demon, which seems like maybe they had witnessed the Holy Knights using the Abyssal Warp at one point, and like Cargo culted that to think that they could just summon demons up out of the ether by making a similar summoning circle. And then, of course, Kuma knocked Brook into that summoning circle, mostly by coincidence, but he did send Brook over there, purposefully, of course. I thought maybe it was a flashback to a scene from then, when Brook was entertaining the people of that island, which was called, like, Skin and Bones Island or whatever. But no. This is a memory from before Brook died of, I guess, sometime when he was a pirate. Before, or maybe even before he was a pirate, I don't know. We don't know much about his life before he was a pirate. Of course here, the father-killing princess, I think, is very much, she got demonified, or whatever. If it's like, oh, yeah, you horrible person, you killed someone close to you. Where have we heard that before? And where did that lead us? So I think it must have been this kingdom became allied with the world government, as one does. And as a condition of that, or as a consequence of that, or whatever, they made the pact with this daughter, who then was controlled by Imu to kill her father. Gunko, is thy memory coming back? Okay. So yes, this breaks through a little bit. I knew Gunko was going to be a good girl, because her face is covered. And then she can lower the coverings. It's a classic. It's classic. Also because she's a girl, and most of the time girls end up being allies to some extent. That's why everybody was so convinced that Monet from Punk Hazard was going to end up being a secret double agent or something and working for Law. Because Foda draws like a beautiful woman. It's like, yeah, you're going to be a good guy. Okay. So, this creates some mental distress. She frees Brooke for a second. Let's just right now. What do you mean? Run. Don't you realize I came to finish what was started? Who in the world are you? Okay. So for just an instant, her power wavers. Brooke gets free. It looks like the kids also are slightly freed. Shut thy mouth. What are thee to Gunko? So this is Imu talking fully. I feel like my mental powers did that. Why did they go slack for just a moment? Yeah, Robin is bound up with the thorns. Save the children, Nami. The western village is quite far away. Angi took off running. She might not even make it in time. Okay. Sanji appears. Okay. Sommer is still marching the kids along. It seems like even though the arrow got wobbly, it literally just got wobbly. So maybe they just kind of like sauntered back and forth a little bit, but they didn't break from their spell that's leading them to the ship. We know that. That's why we're using you. I hear Gabon's son. It's beefing with Colin. Let us go, or at least fight us fair and square. You're funny. It's too late, kids. Look over there. It's the port and ship. Take a good look at your homeland. It's the last time you'll ever see it. Okay. So this seems bad. They're almost there. I want to get out of here as soon as possible. Anything else we need to do? What are those sleep tids doing? They're supposed to be keeping the giant occupied. Whoa, it's Nika, the god of destruction. They have this, of course, total misunderstanding of this ancient history. This is kind of the drawing of Nika that was on the mural. Sure. It's not really clear what he's doing. Okay. Call that Nika. Don't play games with us. We're the warrior generation. Hell yeah. Yeah, they've never really seen their parents fight. They've grown up in the post-Herald era of peaceful giants. Okay. This seems bad. The new giant pirates. Yo. It's the Gokuku sovereignty instead of the Hakoku sovereignty, which was the OG giant pirates' big attack, which they used to destroy the big goldfish at the end of Little Garden. Here they wipe out the Sleep Tid. Nice, very cool. I like that Gerd has this big frickin' axe. That's awesome. I love it. Okay. Yes! And it knocks the ship over. Good. I'm This is one of those ones where I'm like happy on two levels. One is just the like emotional level where I'm cheering for the Giants to fuck up the Holy Knights, because that's the point. And that's, you know, how you enjoy a story, is you root for the protagonist and stuff. But then on a storytelling level too, I was worried that this would become something where the giant children were indeed kidnapped, and then they had to chase the giant children out into the sea, and it's like a rescue operation. Which would be kind of a fun, exciting escalation, but it would take us away from Elbaf, and I want the story to stay on Elbaf, and after this threat is subdued, they're still on Elbaf, and there's, you know, a focus on the remaining mysteries of Elbaf and stuff, because I'm just so curious about those. Alright, that's it. Fun chapter, not super substantial, you know, some fighting, the revelation of Brook and Gunko, but that was, you know, we kind of expected something like that. Yeah, let's look forward to next week. I think we're still not on break, which is exciting. See ya then. Bye-bye.